Hey guys, what's going on? It's Austin. This is a video that's been long overdue. My apologies that this hasn't come out yet. It's only because start of the year, things have only gotten busy. As you guys can see, to my right is my buddy Mr. Garrison.
I thought it was on the left.
No, you're on the right
I
today.
mean, you can switch screens if you want. I
I
mean,
I gotta stay over here.
but you can switch screens because I'm usually on the left.
Yeah, but that's on your channel. This
Oh,
is
I
my
forgot. This
channel.
is I forgot. This is your program. I
Yeah.
forgot. Wow, I completely forgot. This is your show. This is
Yeah.
your program this time.
New year, like I said, new games are coming out. So, in case you haven't seen the title of the video, Mr. Garrison, I already gave you here our top 10 and a couple honorable mentions for our most anticipated games of this year because it looks like this year has some pretty sweet games coming out. Mr. Garrison, you have anything to add before we continue on?
Well, it looks like to me that okay. Last year had some decent enough titles, but the problem is that some of them, and at least with a lot of the games, didn't necessarily lead up to certain expectations like we hoped for. One of them was Deathloop and Resident Evil
Oh,
Village.
God,
For
don't get me started with Deathloop. That game is overrated.
and then there was a couple other games that were actually really good. I believe one of them was Returnal, if I'm not mistaken.
I love Returnal. That game, I feel like doesn't get enough love.
The other one that was really good that I absolutely cherished a lot, we just mentioned it. It Takes Two. That was another fantastic one.
One game of the
And
year, and rightfully so.
but fortunately, on my part, I couldn't play them. Why? Because I'm a broke motherfucker. That's why. But this
Hey,
year,
that will
it's gonna be a
change.
little. This year is gonna be a little bit more promising. Won't go all out, spending
No.
what on games, but I'm gonna buy basically whatever is on this list. Because after going through the little smorgasbord of all the games that are coming out
That's a big
within
word,
this year,
smorgasbord.
well, it's rightfully so. We
Yes.
both wrote a little dossier of the 10 most anticipated games coming out within this year that we're going to briefly give a little summary and discussion why we're looking forward to these said games.
Gary, let's go into our honorable mentions first. And as far as I recall, you only have a couple of them. So really quick, just go over yours, and then I'll go out for mine afterwards.
Well, in terms of my honorable mentions, let's just say that I only have two games, and surprisingly, one of them is going to be like, what the fuck, but I will explain, and the other one is a yes. The first game, the what the fuck, is the WWE 2K22.
I
Why is
could
this
care
one?
less about these
The
games.
reason why I'm interested is because first reviews came out saying that this game looks somewhat better and promising night and day. The graphics look somewhat a little better. And honestly, there's a little bit more things that was in the old Ukes wrestling games that are being brought into this one. So I'm a little intrigued, but I can't really make a huge promise that I'm fully anticipating it. But I got it down as somewhat of an interest. The other one is the Dark Pictures Devil in Me.
That's actually not in either list of mine, believe it or not. Oh, it's only because House of Ashes was disappointing. That's the only reason why.
Devil in Me looks somewhat promising. It may come off better, but we don't know. It looks promising.
I did see some footage of the new WWE game. I'm surprised of how good it looks graphical
That's another
wise.
thing. It actually looks a lot better, and I have a feeling it might be a little more smoother. They said the gameplay is going to be 10 times better than it was previously, so we might
Um,
have something, but we
dude,
shall see.
here's hoping because we haven't had a good WWE game in jeez.
It's
I think,
actually been a couple years since 2K20.
and these are my mentions. I do have 10. I'm gonna go through these rather quickly because we have a lot to get into. So starting off with Breath of the Wild 2. Next up is Scary. I'm ready for you to slap me. Crimson Desert is in my honorable mentions only because there's nothing else out there besides the gameplay that we have seen. Then we have Somerville. This kind of looks like World of the Worlds, but an independent game like. Then there's the Dead Space remake. I love the original game. The footage I have seen looks absolutely incredible. It's actually developed by the guys who did Star Wars The New Rogue Squadron game, which incredible game. Next up is the Evil Dead game, which looks great. Then we got Bayonetta 3. Then we have Forspoken, the latest PS5 exclusive, which looks like it's a brand new IP. Then we have Gotham Knights. This takes place, I think, after Arkham Knight, if I remember correctly. And play as either Robin, Red Wing, Batgirl. It's essentially supposed to be like a multiplayer Batman game. Then we got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a spinoff to
Tiny,
Borderlands.
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Gonna tiptoe through the tulips.
You might as well be. And then we have Sifu. This is a kung fu game. Yeah, it's called Sifu. It's a kung fu game.
Seafood?
No, Sifu, like Sifu.
Fuck you. What the fuck are you trying to say?
Sifu.
Wi-Fi? Cable? TV?
Anyways, let's hear your 10 through 6, shall we?
10 through 6. Starting off with number 10, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody watching, how are you doing? I hope you're all doing shitty, because I am too. Starting off with number 10, The Lord of the Rings Gollum. Everybody loves the Peter Jackson movies. The same guy who went from directing those gory-ass cheese films like Brain Dead and Bad Taste to all of a sudden making one of the greatest trilogy, most inspirational piece of work for any person who is into the world of literature, film, or just that type of realm when it comes to fantasy, goblins, wizards, gargoyles, midgets, whatever. The fact that we're going to be getting a Lord of the Rings video game, that actually impresses me a lot. But the thing is that I'm not sure what the story is yet, but after just the announcement, I don't think much has been revealed yet of what the game is going to look like, what it is going to be in it, or what the gameplay is, and so on and so forth. But however, though, the reason why it's so low is because of interest. Is this going to be like a reboot? Is it going to be something new? Is it going to be like an online world type of thing, which is going to be somewhat similar to a game I will later talk about pretty soon? Who knows exactly what this game might surround, but the fact that it's going to be the Lord of the Rings, that alone already catches a lot of interest. Okay, next up, number 9. This next game, when I first saw at least what it looked like visually, just from a couple screenshots, you want to know what the idea of this game looks like? It gave me a little bit of a mental picture of both Shadow of the Colossus and the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. As for what this game is, also a little Assassin's Creed thrown in if you want to say that, or Monster Hunter, but just the look of it alone, hell, it kind of reminded me somewhat of Skyrim in a way.
Oh, okay.
Number 9 is Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, you'll hear about that later on my list.
Now, I know this game is going to be an action adventure type of role-playing interactive game, but just from seeing it visually, it looks absolutely beautiful. It looks like you're going to be casting spells, mythological creatures, fighting different monsters, upgrading yourselves, something like, well, to the games I imagine, hell, if you are a fan of World of Warcraft, you'll probably get an idea, but who knows? But just looking at it visually, it looks absolutely stunning. What all these characters look like, what the whole entire appearance is going to come off looking, I'm interested, and I can see a lot of these influences from the games I mentioned thrown in. Next up, number 8. This one is really low on my list, but hey, you're the same motherfucker who didn't have one game that's going to be I'm going to later talk about on his list. So another one bites the dust. Number 8 is God of War Ragnarok.
Hey, it's your top 10. So
yeah, but some people got fucking mad at me, and I ended up getting heat because of it.
Oh, I'm not mad. It's in your top 10.
I'm gonna say I'm not excited like everybody else is, because I love fucking Norse mythology. I love the Greek, Egyptian, or whatever the hell it is. I love learning about that stuff. But the thing is that when it comes to different games that involve this concept, there's much more fascination that grows some liking out of me. With God of War Ragnarok, after the absolute outstanding success of the 2018 God of War that came out, this is basically the continuation of that game into something bigger, better, badder, and probably much more intense of what the first one has brought for everybody. I really like how they're really putting a lot of steroids into this game. And I mean by steroids, that they're jacking it up to a whole nother level. If you thought that the 2018 God of War was going to give you something, they're really growing the anticipation a lot. That fucking trailer really grabbed you by the balls and dragged you into the TV. Have you played the end game? There you go.
Yeah, it looks like they're doubling down on everything that made 2018's God of War amazing.
Yeah. Next up, number 7. This game, you and I played it, we talked about it, and we're going to be doing the same rinse and repeat with this particular game. I was the one who told you to play this one after a while, and lo and behold, after I told you to play it, after I played and I told you to play it, you ended up liking it too, and lo and behold, we both end up growing the same type of anticipation for it. In the first game, you took a real life situation that happened centuries ago, one of the most brutal illnesses that happened in world history, that was just,
I cannot wait for this game.
you didn't know how to fix it, and they were able to take that and turn it into an inspiration with an original stories of characters that you ended up caring about. Well, first time, the one character you didn't care about at first because of how annoying he is, but he later grows in you as the game develops on within story. It's got simple stealth that you learn hands-on. It's got a rinse and repeat type pattern, but however, though, with the layout and each interaction, it's different with how you perform your stealth. Number 7 is A Plague Tale Requiem. We got some returning characters. They're a little older now, like mentioned, and we're going to be getting something new, something fresh. But in gameplay wise, I'm a little curious to see if they're going to add a little tweaks. Because, okay, when you play a Naughty Dog game, you get the same gameplay, but you end up getting a little tweaks here and there of some new stuff thrown in.
Yeah.
Maybe we might get something thrown in with the stealth concept, same type of concept with the bow and arrow, the potion usages, putting the guys asleep.
Maybe with Hugo's abilities.
Maybe we might get a little upper advantage with that because his ability was something fresh. I would like to see something new, something fresh to make the sequel much more exciting. All right, next up, number 6. I already talked about a game where you can do co-op with your buddy or your girlfriend or your prostitute, porn star friend, whoever you got, who, if they're into gaming and whatever. But the thing is that there's a lot of folks out there who are geeks. Now, I already mentioned about the Lord of the Rings, but there's another thing that people have a big fascination for, and that is the Harry Potter franchise. Hogwarts Legacy. I think the title speaks for itself of what the legacy is going to be.
This was supposed to come out last year as well.
But unfortunately got delayed because of, some sort of nonsense that I shall not mention, referencing to A Plague Tale.
It's a great way to say it. It's a great way to say it, actually.
We all have seen the Harry Potter movies. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. There was a time where we didn't even see the movies. We ended up reading the books, either liking them or hating them or whatever your preference is with how you liked Harry Potter. I was mixed on the films. I didn't give a shit about the books. So I didn't feel like reading them. But there was Harry Potter games that came out for PlayStation, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and so many other systems. And they were all based, at least a good portion of them were based off the movies. But the fact that we're getting a new Hogwarts game and the fact that it's going to be called Legacy, the concept is that you're going to get with your friends, family, whomever. You're going to be exploring the Hogwarts school. You're going to be attending the classes. You're going to play Quidditch. You're going to fly on the brooms. You're going to fight Dementors. I'm actually invested to play this, and obviously, when it comes out, we are going to play it together.
Damn right we will. Going through my 10 through 6, starting off with my number 10, I have Ghostwire Tokyo. We've been waiting for this game now. This one was announced back in 2018, 2019 for E3.
It was announced a long time ago.
But the concept of this game, it is a horror game, but it isn't. It's more of an action supernatural game with horror elements. The way they've teased the action elements with you going around, which looks like a beautifully done Tokyo. I love the cyberpunk aesthetic to the game with the neon lighting. I love how we're seeing the action mechanics. There's not really that much we know about story, unfortunately, but this is developed by the same team who brought us The Evil Within, which is a great type of horror game series. It looks like to be a nice twist on a paranormal action game set in Japan. Number 9, I showed you this game a couple of days ago, and I felt bad because it's an Xbox only thing afterwards. And that is the game. Yeah, I know. I was like, this is going for the PS5. And I just went, oh shit, that's right. And I remember I will never forget the reaction on your face that day. This is a game called Replaced. This is a 2D cyberpunk game with a very 3D feel to it. They showed this game last year at the Microsoft briefing. I didn't know what to expect. And when I saw it, I just went, holy crap, this looks like it could be something special. I don't know too much about it, but it looks unique. Everyone knows me. I love Blade Runner. This looks like it has that aesthetic, but in a video game form. But maybe better than that. I have no idea. Number 8 is a game that I have been waiting for ever since it was announced. It's been delayed, like 3 times now because of, well, let's just say it's a Plague Tale. That's all I can say about that. Well, no, I'm referencing Plague Tale, but you'll hear about that later on. This is a game called Little Devil Inside. This was supposed to come out in 2019. Then 2020, I guess they did some tweaking, but from what I have seen, the tweaks they did, they made the game only look better. It just looks like more of an open world where you go in these zones and you're doing these quests. That's all I really know about it. It has a very charming feel to it. It has a very cartoonish type of look to it. In terms of gameplay, it looks great, but I can't wait to see more in terms of, here I go say it again, with the story, because it looks like heavily on story too, rather than
What?
gameplay as well.
A movie for story or read a goddamn book.
Well, games do have stories in them, Gary.
But I want to play it, not
As
play.
do I.
Then fucking play it.
I want an interactive game that has a story.
All right, you want an interactive game? Let's play Simon Says.
Simon Says, go fuck yourself?
Simon Says, kiss my ass, then go fuck yourself.
Okay, then.
Good.
Number 7, Gary, I love cats.
I do too.
I love me some kitty cats. I, and Jerome, we were watching a PlayStation showcase a long time ago, and this game was showcased, and that is called Stray. I love the platforming elements. I love the puzzle mechanics that I've seen. Knowing that you're using this thing to fight these creatures. Again, we're going into more of a sci-fi feel and look to it. I just can't wait to see what else there is to do with this game. And knowing you're playing with this cute little fluffy kitty cat as well, you gotta be sold on that alone, knowing that you're playing as a kitty. I was supposed to come out in October last year, but got delayed into this year. But the new footage that we have seen looks beautiful. And number 6 for me, Gary, it's Hogwarts Legacy. You were just talking about this. I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. Loved all the films. Well, with the exception of Order of the Phoenix, I think that's the weakest one. I actually did read all the books. Loved all the books as well. I have played most of the Harry Potter games, but I've been wanting that Harry Potter game that feels, again, I'm saying this word a lot, but it just makes sense. It feels like a fresh take on Harry Potter, and this looks like it'll hopefully do it again. It was supposed to come out last year, but due to reasons being, it is coming out this year. I just want to see gameplay, but knowing that this takes place in Harry Potter, as a massive Harry Potter fan, looking forward to it quite a bit.
Okay, number 5.
Oh God!
How am I going to?
This isn't Stray, is it?
No, it's not Stray. How am I going to address this game?
Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. I showed you it last year.
Address this game without being biased. Let's just say when I saw this, I think everybody knows the type of women that I am personally into, and what my dream is to have. And if I can't sometimes in reality, if it can't come true, there's always,
there's other ways you can do it as well.
There's fantasies that we adults like to have.
But you can't help it, man. You can't help it. To be fair, this game looks great. It really looks great.
Well, yes, she does look great.
That's what I was talking about, sure.
I like Faith Connors from Mirror's Edge, but I think Project Eve is next.
This game, it looks like a combo of Nier Automata meets like a Bayonetta.
It looks somewhat like one of those games with Bayonetta, but you know what? For some reason, I don't know what it is. The gameplay, I'm just going to make a little prediction. I feel like the gameplay is going to be somewhat of a Dark Souls or Bloodborne inspiration.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
That's just a hypothesis. You got nothing to complain about, but I do.
And plus, I will not lie, that lady looks good too.
Fine,
but she's yours. She's yours.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Number 4. You want me to say my number 4? Okay.
Yes.
It is. All right. Basically mentioned a very little of this game, and I'm gonna go into some more at least a little more detail. I always like concepts, whether it's in movies or games, where it's a what if principle. The what if principle is there. One day you're just walking, minding your own business, and all of a sudden you just vanish completely. clothes fucking fall on the ground. You just turn into dust. Where did you go? You playing peekaboo?
Did you find Cotton Eye Joe? Hey, you set me up for that. You set me up for it.
I said peekaboo, not Cotton Eye Joe.
But you said, where'd you go?
No, I didn't. I said peekaboo.
But you also said, where'd you go before that?
Did I say where'd you? Oh, fucking playback or whatever. Where did you go? You playing peekaboo? You're playing as the spirit. He goes off a journey to fight other bad guys to find what happened to everybody and trying to get them all back in reality. But instead, but the thing is that this is a first-person perspective game, which is something that is more down my alleyway of games that I enjoy playing. But however, though, instead of using guns like shotgun, pistol, assault rifles, bazooka, BFG, whatever, you're using powers like telekinesis type things. Got a great concept to it. I like how they're getting a little more creative with the first person perspective with gameplay, and visually it looks interesting. And I appreciate the Japanese influence that they are throwing in more and more for gaming, and this is one of them. Next up, number 3. I say fuck you for not having this one. Not even close to your list at all. Not even on it at all. I'm going to give you a clue to this particular
Is it Evil Dead?
Just ruined my fucking segment again. You ruined my goddamn segment. What? That's not groovy.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna put a fucking chainsaw on my goddamn head and saw your laptop in half.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll be fucking hallucinating to where everything starts laughing at me. The music show, the glasses, the fucking fans, the light bulbs, everything's laughing at me.
But hey, you know what? You're going to show those things and you're going to say, who's laughing now, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the first movie was good. The second movie was sublime. Army of Darkness was a lot of fun. The TV show was fun, cheesy, but fun. And Bruce Campbell is going to be coming back, reprising his role as Ash Williams. And I'm excited.
Never saw the TV show.
I only saw a few episodes. It was cheesy. It's cheesy, but it's fun. I'm curious of exactly what it's going to be about. Is it going to be telling the story of Bruce Campbell's, is it a retelling of the Evil Dead, the movies? Or is it going to be a new story where he's just, in the big city trying to save people from fucking flesh-eating zombies and collect 8 pages?
See? You're smart.
Sometimes.
No, you are.
But you're not smart for ruining my fucking segments. Number 2. I went from angry to calm talking about this one. I'm a cat lover, ladies and gentlemen. Shut up. I'm a cat lover. I love kitty cats. They mean the world to me. They're an animal that I absolutely cherish and love.
Cats are beautiful creatures. Enough said.
And I love them. Video game based off a kitty cat. That brings so much joy to me. I said this before. I'm going to say it again. If you want me to summarize what this game's going to be, if you are a huge fucking cat lover, this game is going to be for you. Even I can't say if it's going to be good or bad yet, but all I know is that just from the look of it, it's going to be a game for cat lovers.
I knew this game would be for you the moment that we saw it.
It's going to be simple platforming, simple puzzle solving, and just going from one area to another and progressing in story. And it's like a post-apocalyptic type cyber colorful world with the synth wave thrown into it. I'm mostly curious about what the music's going to be for this game.
Yeah,
looks absolutely adorable and snuggly.
I
like it a lot just from the look of it, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah, Stray looks fantastic, and I agree. I can't wait to get my hands on it. My number 5 spot. Never played the original game, but seeing this makes me want to go back to playing the original, and this is a game called Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. This is a survival horror game. The original game, I think, came out late 90s, maybe early 2000s. All I know is this takes place, of course, in Chernobyl, as expected from the title.
Istanbul from Constantinople.
Oh, Jesus God. I don't know too much about this game, like I mentioned, because I have not played the story of the original, but I'm going to play it before this comes out, and also comes out on my birthday. I love me a good survival horror game. Some of my favorite genres out there. I'm looking forward to seeing what this game brings to the genre. Number 4 for me, Garrett got me to play the original game. I'm happy he did, because I think the original game is fucking fantastic. And the moment I saw this teaser, I got immediately excited. This jumped high up my list, and that is A Plague Tale Requiem. The Black Death was a subject I was interested in for a very long time, and now they explored that concept in Innocence, I thought was fucking brilliant. The story of a brother and a sister. I don't want to say what happens in that game in case you haven't played it, so that's why I'm saying go play the damn game because it is a brilliant gem that nobody played, unfortunately. I never expected a sequel to happen, but sure enough, look what happened.
It's supposed to be a series of games for this particular
Really?
story. I think so. Feels
Oh.
like it. I mean, it feels like it in my mind.
Graphically, the game looks fucking phenomenal. It looks colorful against this contrast of a very dark world still that they live in, even though if you've played the first game, you know what happens. I am very excited to see not only gameplay wise how they tweaked up certain things, but I can hope to see where the story goes in this game as well. Going to my number 3 spot. I love this game developer to no end. One of their games that they made is one of my favorite games of all time, Bloodborne. And when I heard about this game and knowing the collaboration between the director and George R.R. Martin, who's behind Game of Thrones, you've only got my excitement more so. And this is Elden Ring. I like the way that From Software does their game design. My Sekiro, which I think is overrated. That's the only From Software game that I could not get into despite me loving the difficulty levels in their games. Elden Ring looks like they're keeping the same difficulty level of this, but it looks like a combination of the traversal system of Sekiro meets the aggressiveness of Bloodborne with a little bit of the strategic feel of Dark Souls. I love Bloodborne. I love Dark Souls. And I loved the grappling hook mechanic in Sekiro. Knowing it's from the writing of George R.R. Martin, you've got me hyped. And they've already released like an hour and a half of gameplay already from this. And I can wait to invest many hours to this game. Now, my number 2 for me, I didn't know what to expect from this game. I saw the first trailer and I just thought, okay. But knowing it's the developer of the Batman Arkham games, you've got me right there. Arkham City is one of the greatest games ever made. And knowing that this takes place in that world, and knowing how batshit insane it looks, knowing how much I love, even though this is completely different, even though I love the Suicide Squad, I'm excited to see where where Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League takes place, where it happens. Because you play as Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark, who by the way is voiced by Samoa Joe. You get to fight against a corrupted version of the Flash, Superman, and Brainiac is doing all of this. It looks like just colorful, fun, in an open world that looks batshit insane. It's supposed to be coming out this year. I don't know too much about it, but the gameplay looks just absolutely balls to the wall fun. And that's all that I want from this game. Now, Gary, with that being said, it is time to go on to our number 1 most anticipated games of the year. Gary,
What?
what is your number 1, sir?
Well, everybody knows how much I love Ghost of Tsushima as one of my personal favorites, and that is a game that I am quite proud of platinuming.
Ghost of Tsushima is a fucking fantastic game.
That's better. This is another game that potentially might be on my next list for platinuming if it turns out to be something, hopefully, well, gameplay wise, it already fucking gave me a hard on. But story wise, if it also can blend in with the gameplay that we are given, I might get a fucking raging boner to where I might splooge without even touching it.
I actually want to get the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on PlayStation 5, knowing how everything's changed up. I want to get that DLC too.
I mean, you got a lot from Ghost of Tsushima with the sword fighting, going around the world fighting against, creating different, maneuvers. There's sword fighting, but it's not only against enemies like common folk. There's monsters. There's gargoyles, there's ogres, there's different beasts, different four-legged creatures. You get to fly and fight dragons. You get to roam around a bigger world. You get to see a much more deeper, darker tale of the medieval times. Again, I sense a little Assassin's Creed inspiration for this, just very little. because it feels like it. Is it Sucker Punch?
No, I think it's a company called Black Abyss, if I remember correctly. I think that's let me actually look it up really quick,
Okay,
that way I can actually tell you.
Black Abyss. Okay, so if it's called Block a Bitch, what is it called?
Black Abyss, I'm looking it up right now, hold on, give me
Okay,
1 second. Oh,
okay.
say Pearl Abyss, that's the company, Pearl Abyss.
Why does it sound like some sort of fucking fungus? From this developer, it feels like somewhat of a Sucker Punch type of thing. It's just from the look.
And the gameplay as well.
It looks like a Sucker Punch type of creation, which is a good thing because if it comes off like something of another studio while having its hopeful own original thing that we're going to hopefully see, we might get something special. However, though, this game looks colorful, it looks glamorous, it absolutely glistens with such beautiful, elegant beauty. Crimson Desert. This game, I like the concept it's going. I like the idea. I like that you're going to be doing much more with sword fighting. I like the idea of different moves. They're going to be fighting various different enemies, either allies or going against in general. This is going to be a third person type thing, yes?
Yes, it absolutely is third person.
Okay, then we're on something. Crimson Desert, my most anticipated game coming out. I can't wait.
My number one game I'm looking forward to this year, Gary knows what it is. Anyone knows me knows what this game is. And that's God of War Ragnarok. I adore 2018's God of War. It's one of my personal favorite games. It was my favorite game of the last decade. I started playing God of War 2018 not too long ago, and knowing what happens at the end of 2018's God of War, I cannot wait to see how the story plays in this game. Like Gary was mentioning as well, everything that was so good about 2018's God of War, which I think everything, because I don't have a single issue with 2018's God of War. It looks like they have doubled down upon everything and doing slight tweaks to things for Ragnarok to make it look bigger and better. How they're continuing with the Norse mythology, which, by the way, they have said this is the final game in Norse mythology. There's rumors that Odin's gonna be the game, that all 9 realms you can go to in this game, knowing what happened with Freya at the end of the last game. I can't wait to see how everything goes. Knowing Atreus' identity was revealed in the last game, seeing how he wants to find out the truth of what happened, when he found his identity, knowing he's a teenager now. Potential with this game is huge. And if this game lives up to anything that the 2018 God of War did, it's gonna be something. But if it beats that game and exceeds everything, we're possibly gonna have the next God of War 2 on our hands. But that being said, God of War Ragnarok is my most anticipated game of this year. And with that, that is gonna conclude Gary and I's top 10 most anticipated games of 2022. Comment down, let us know below. What are your top 10 most anticipated games of the year? And also, if you do have a couple, let us know if you have mentions. Now, Gary,
Uh,
where can they find you when you're not on this channel?
I'm right here. Well, you can find me on the Mr. Garrison 96 page, the NG2C network. But if you
Yes,
want to see where I'm active mostly, the Mr. Garrison 96 page, that's where my show is.
Yes, it is. That's where
That's
both
where
of us
my
is.
show is.
Every Monday, right?
I think so. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I don't know, but it is about Pacific. I think it's 2
I believe it's 2. Yeah, 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or whatever it is in your time zone. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then calculate in your area, then you'll know exactly. On Mondays, on Mr. Garrison 96 page.
If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, also subscribe, and hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video goes live. Please hit the other 2 videos if you want to see the last 2 videos. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, guys.